correctly with the correct amount.
D20 Radio, where gamers roll.
www.d20radio.com.
Welcome to Me and Steve Talk RPGs, a podcast where me and my friend Steve...
We're playing games this time.
Before we begin, I want to take a moment to acknowledge something important. The setting of this campaign, Origin, is inspired by West African cultures, histories, and aesthetics. None of the players, and certainly not myself, have lived experience or even ancestry from that part of the world. While Origin is part of the canonical setting for Exalted, I've drawn on real-world West African traditions to help bring the setting more fully to life. This isn't meant to be an accurate historical or cultural portrayal, and it is definitely not a commentary on any real-world nations, peoples, or beliefs. One key difference is theological. While Timbuktu and the surrounding regions were deeply shaped by the arrival of Islam, Exalted has its own divine and mythological structure that plays out very differently. My hope is to approach these inspirations with respect and care, and I welcome feedback if I fall short. In the session notes, there will be a short list of resources to learn about the real history of West Africa and the Sahel. Thank you. All right. I guess we can start playing then. So, does anybody remember where we were last game session?
I believe we kind of closed following the meeting with the prince and her private guard. And that was the last significant thing I remember happening. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. There was also Lokras the Migdun, who is the commander of the Stone Line, a mercenary group that has... well, he's married into the Gem nobility, and he's pretty solidly... Or not Gem, the Origin nobility. And he's pretty solidly on Origin's side. So we're picking it up about 3 days after talking to the prince. You guys are in Origin, in the Unbound compound, which is the one that, wow.
Oathbound.
In the Oathbound compound. And when last we left our merry band, I know Steve, your character, Wonderful Cyclone, had been making noises about talking to Madu Jerrik about finding a fence, and also looking into merchants that were notably pro-gem.
And by that, just so you understand, I wanted you more to be able to have that as in your mind, because my intention is to strike more at the pro-gem merchants. I don't care if they have names. I just didn't want to hit you with, I want to notably target the pro-gem side of things, and you not having that split that way, so to speak.
Yeah, no problems. And so if you're going to go have a chat with Makala Two-Tongue, I guess the question is anyone else going with you? And I assume you're going back to the Silent Shell.
I'll be happy to go.
And as you may or may not recall, the Silent Shell is between a tannery and a shrine to a minor water god, and it's a dim tavern near in one of Origin's older districts. It's not a dive, it's not luxurious, but it caters to those with reasons to be unseen. It's said the building was once a guide hall for spirit mediums who treated the emotionally injured. Some of the
deep alcoves, sharply arched ceilings, uneven thresholds remain because, of course, these mediums wanted a certain amount, and their clients wanted a certain amount of privacy. And so you've got sunken alcoves lined with woven reed mats and beaded curtains. Patrons can enter and exit via different routes, some past the main counter, others through alley doors. There's no central hearth, and small ember pots are brought to each table to warm your hot drinks. And the ceiling is matte black clay tiles and hanging cloths to just absorb all the echoes.
Okay.
And that's the place. That's the place you had met Mikala Two-Tongue last time, and this is where he's told you to come. So, as you guys enter, I'm assuming you've sent a message to Mikala to let him know, hey, I'd like to meet you.
Yeah. Obviously, like I know how the game is played.
Mm-hmm. And when you do enter, Mikala is sitting at a table in an alcove, of course. And do you recall Mikala he's always wearing a veil, he's got his cloak is shrouded. He does have little embroidered strips of cloth and even some strips of paper that appear to have prayers in the old script realm on them. And he sort of half nods, and a server comes by, and the servers, an oddity here is the servers don't speak in front of customers. They have a slate that they present to you with the menu, such as it is. There is your choices for food are salted cola nuts, dried fish strips, and flatbread. The drinks available are what's just described as house pour, which is just whatever beer they have purchased on hand. There's a Whisper Root Tisane, which is a non-alcoholic drink that has a certain degree of, it's got kind of like a caffeine type effect. It's not, actually tea leaves, but it has a similar stimulant effect. There's also a smoked mango spirit, which has been distilled down to effectively a brandy. So it's a mango brandy. And they have the house specialty is called Gray Ale. It's murky, it's dense, it's kind of weird, and nobody else has anything like it. So
I think the nuts and the house pour sound appropriate.
Mikala indicates only marks on the slate for the mango spirit. Jen?
I'll stick with the flat. Actually, you know what? I'm going to try the dried fish strips and the house.
Okay. The server silently strides away. They're moving like they have been trained to move quietly. Like, silence is the selling point of the Silent Shell. And Mikala says, again, we meet. What can we do for you?
Obviously speaking, this place obviously appears to be very quiet, so obviously very hushed tones.
Yes.
Potentially going to have a problem, which I thought you might be able to help me solve.
That is my business. The solving of problems, that is.
So, I'm anticipating coming into a windfall of goods, and I need to move them on. But actually, let me rewind all this. I want to open, and this is a conversation that I feel like in character I would know how to do. Steve as a player doesn't necessarily know the appropriate lingo, but I want to get a sense of, and I thought, based on what you were saying about the strips of paper and old script and all that, he throws off a vibe of being very kind of traditional, but I want to initially get a read on, I'm sure he's loyal to the coin loyal to profit above all else. But as far as his leanings in terms of Gem, the old ways, origin, you know what I mean?
So the last time you had a conversation with him, he was very clear that Makala cares not for politics.
Okay.
That one ruler is the same as another to him or them. That they believe that the only difference between rulers is in precisely what goods are taxed highly enough to make it worth smuggling.
Okay. Fair enough. So I think then, again, you having reminded me of that, then I think it will come down to, I anticipate coming into some goods which I will need to move along. As you solve problems, perhaps you would know who I might be able to move those along to, and even perhaps what goods more people might be looking for.
Depends on the goods. After all, it is easier to fence a stolen knife than a yedim.
Indeed. Let us say, for example, something like uncut gems.
Aha. Gems. Gems are... Yes, I do have a source. I do have a source. One of the gem cutters guild, who is a aficionado of the gambling table, yet not as skilled as his desires would be. He frequently will take stones of unknown or dubious provenance and arrange for them to be recut, perhaps split into multiple stones, whatever the case may be.
So this is a man not unacquainted with the more shadowy side of the city, shall we say. Very well. As to, I assume you have clients who would want other goods.
I have different sources for different items. The amount of, I hesitate to say fair, but the percentage of the price an honest merchant would get for it varies from good to good.
Of course.
The process works fairly simply. I would meet with you, appraise the items. You would then deliver them to a certain place. An unseen hand removes the gems from the box, and payment would be in whatever form you like, in the same way, placed in that box.
Fair. Sounds as if you can provide what I need, and I'm sure you take a fee or materials as your part of the deal.
Rather.
Very well.
But I do provide certain guarantees that my acquaintance might cheat you once, but only once. And he sort of smiles.
And I'll return the smile. And for that, I appreciate it, and I look forward to doing more business with you. Contact you via the usual methods?
Indeed, and it need not be specific, just tell me that I will just assume that I need to be prepared to appraise something like that.
Okay. And I think essentially, not to drag it on exceptionally long, also want to chit-chat, kind of make it seem like I came in to have a conversation with him, not a quick this, I'm gone. But I also kind of want to get a feel for, let's say, I come into a rather large shipment of some sort of relatively mundane good. Is that something he's able to do, or does he want to stay more in specialty or high value things? We'll just say I steal a wagon of cloth that is a common commodity. Is that something he's at all interested in dealing with, or should I?
No, he can make arrangements for anything.
Okay.
Basically the bulkier it is, the harder it is for him to do it, but he's cool with it.
Okay. All right. Well then, yeah, I think we've kind of established what we're looking for. Unless you feel the need to play more out, I think we're adequately set up.
Okay.
Do you have anything to add, Saelen? Or are you just kind of observing and getting a vibe for this guy as well?
I'm just observing and kind of getting a vibe.
Okay.
And one thing I will do is I will have Hellbor kind of waiting outside. And I'm just curious, well, I'm just nosy, like when they leave, when this person leaves, I just want to see if Hellbor can kind of follow them a little bit. Not super obviously. I'm curious. I'm nosy. Like, where's he going? Or where are they going, rather?
Okay. So, now what do you guys want to do?
Well, I want to start casing Madu Jerrik, because I feel like we need a fairly significant score to get some resources into the organization. And that feels like the quickest high-value target that I know I want to hit.
Okay. So, as you may recall, Madu Jerrik's main shop on the Market Plaza is locked up pretty well. I mean, you burglarized it already, going after his books, but it's locked up pretty well. The uncut gems are held in strong boxes overnight, and there are security. Excuse me. He apparently has some sort of deal he's made with one of the mercenary groups. You know how, like, you can hire off-duty cops to provide security? Looks like he's made some sort of deal hiring off-duty mercenaries to be security, at least at night. So,
any particular faction of the mercenaries that he's hiring from, or is it just seemingly random?
Oh, no. He has definitely picked. He's picked from the Iron Siaka, which is a hilarious name for a desert group, for a mercenary group that is hundreds of miles from the ocean. Siaka is basically a creation equivalent to a megalodon.
Aha.
Yes. So they're, like I said, they're like 1,000 miles from the nearest ocean. Yet they call themselves the Iron Sharks, and they are professional, coordinated, known to be very stick to the letter of their contracts. Yeah.
Okay, so they're professional soldiers, not piece of shit thugs like the Red Fang was largely.
Right. Yeah. So basically, out of the 7 mercenary companies in town, the Stone Line, the Oathbound, Iron Siaka, and Daggerwind are professionals. The Blood Knives and Ash Vultures are thugs, and the Dust Wives are they're desert raiders. So they're very, very good, but very disorganized.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay. So, in terms of preparation, I already know more or less the layout of the building. Assuming he's probably he has clearly increased his security. Would I, from having been there before, have an idea of the volume of which I would be needing to get away with?
It depends on how much money you want. There is enough that you could. I mean, you could clean the place out, and you would get a fair amount of. You'd get a fair amount of gems. You'd need a fairly good sized box. But then again, you could also take a handful of gems and come out with, several lifetimes worth of pay for your average laborer. So.
But, okay, what I ideally I would love to clean him out just for spite. But what I was more concerned with is needing extra bodies to help get it away. Basically, I think what I'm probably looking to do is to leave with a full load for myself, but not at this point. I don't want to bring a second person along if I don't need to, at least on the actual infiltration and heisting part. Obviously lookouts, that type of thing, but I don't want to have to take a second person in the building, being as I have abilities that let me do that much more simply than, like Finn is great, but me sneaking Finn into the building is a lot harder than me getting in all on my own.
Yeah. I mean, Finn could like, if Finn knocks everybody out, then nobody sees him, so he's sneaking. But I think that's about it.
Right. Finn is concussively stealthy.
So, I would say he's probably got several hundred low-grade stones suitable for jewelry or bulk resale, and probably 80 or 90 higher-grade uncut stones.
I feel like, in the spirit of being the cautious thief, which I feel like Cyclone would be, I would actually tend more towards the lower grade, maybe take a selection of the higher grade ones, but for the most part, take the lower grade, more common stuff, just because, and this is probably more in my mind, but they're much, should something go sideways, a common stone is much harder to pinpoint as that was mine than, oh wait, you have, what was clearly once, stone, whatever the name of it was, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Fortunately, since he has uncut stones, just the process of cutting them is going to reshape them significantly, and make it harder to locate them. But yeah.
Right, but it's the same idea of it's the same theory behind why $20 bills are more counterfeited than $100 bills.
Right. Because people don't pay as much
nobody
attention.
blinks at a 20.
Well, it's why the Honda Civic was the most stolen car for years.
Oh, right.
Because there's a bazillion of them and no one looks twice at used Civic parts.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean, you could get.
I know it's not the instant profit, but it's more stealthy. My thought is honestly to maybe pick out a couple nice of the exceptional stones and actually offer them to Makala as their cut.
Okay. Yeah.
But that's what I'm looking to set up and prep for. Additionally, as to things I'm looking to set up, I actually think I'd like to find Littlebat at some point and kind of have him, like, I don't want him directly involved. I want to use Little Bat more as, because he knows the merchants and his father's, friends, to get a sense of what goods. Like, if I were to snag a wagon load of X, he might know who could use a wagon load of X. Also, yeah, I'm dominating things, though, so I'd love to give someone else some time if they'd like it.
Okay, so yeah, you're going to track down a little bit. Jen, what's your character up to other than tagging along to the meeting with the weirdo?
Kind of to, if we're going to be kind of going into, I don't want to say necessarily smuggling, but if we're going to be trying to find things that people need that may not be able to get a hold of, one of the things that I'm going to do is kind of start listening to the people coming in and out of my clinic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I mean, I know things aren't terrible, but like this, these aren't the outlying, rings of, makeshift housing like you would see around like a city like Mumbai has those huge sprawling.
Yeah. No. But
so I know that it's not that, but
you're focusing more on like what's the name of the district? The tall grass, the outermost district.
Yes.
Largely abandoned straight avenues for a tangle of alleys winding past square, squat mud brick dwellings. Clustered amongst these streets are unclean businesses such as butchers, tanners, dyers, whose dye pits contain the indigo for which Origin is renowned. Only the Grand Prowl and other gate roads cut through the mazes. They're lined here by caravanserai catering to foreign travelers. Most of Origin's peasants and slaves live in the tall grass. It's a pastime of young nobles to carouse here and cause trouble. So you're talking about in the tall grass.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
If we're going to be either, looking for things that people want or that people need, as long as, I know that we're primarily doing it to kind of, give someone some just desserts. But, if we can use some of that money to help some of the other folks, like, what do they need?
Oh,
not only what can I do for them medically, but, I'm not going to drag in poor mousing necessarily, which is a holdover from a different game, but kind of that idea.
Okay. Obviously, money would be the top, the top winner. Money, food, that sort of thing. That's kind of the basics. You're probably also going to see a certain number of enslaved persons coming through the clinic. Yeah. And they have a whole series of needs.
Okay, so real quick question. In that case, since I'm seeing enslaved persons coming through my clinic, I'm also going to start putting out some feelers. I understand that in Exalted slavery is a thing, but what type of are there any type of organizations that can help get people away? And I'm not necessarily thinking, but I'm thinking enslaved children, or something like.
It's, if you're asking if there's like an underground railroad / abolitionist movement.
Yeah, basically.
Not really. A lot of Origin's rural population is enslaved and a lot of that goes back to when the current rulers of Origin rolled in and conquered the place. The Galana, some of the clans that fought hard against them ended up enslaved. Others are, I guess, kind of broken down from the rural peasantry that had lost a lot of rights and whatnot. So, a lot of times it's like an entire village is technically slaves, but you can barely tell them from the peasants in the next village over, who are tenant farmers.
I would say it seems like serfdom is kind
Yeah.
of a thing.
Yeah, it's very much the serfdom sort of thing, and the way that translates within Origin itself is you might have slave families that have some sort of particular talent or skill, and ply it on behalf of their masters. So I mean there's also if people are if slaves are acquired from trade, that's a thing too. But honestly, most of that is an import-export business where they are sending them north with the caravans to the Lap and the coast. But some of them do end up being purchased for various reasons, especially skilled ones, because that's an investment. There's not really an abolitionist movement per se, although you will hear rumors of Amadi the Unchained, who is apparently, depending on who you ask, either a boogeyman or a great hero of liberation, but you suspect would be hard to tell from any other group of bandits if it weren't for the fact that his people all started enslaved.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll still, I'll still keep my ear to the ground, and basically just treat them and I know that everyone always needs food and whatnot, but kind of just seeing what I can supply. I know we don't have a lot of money, but I'm just going to try that and just keeping my ear to the ground, seeing if I hear anything interesting, especially about Madu
Jerrik?
That's him. And that. Just kind of keeping my ear to the ground, and treating anyone who comes through.
Yeah. It doesn't take long before you get a group of individuals who are, I don't want to say frequent flyers, but they're kind of regulars, and they've, without you having to say, yes, you can stay here, but you need to pay your rent and information, they've kind of picked up on the fact that you like to hear things, and so you are effectively getting a information net for the price of flatbread and
Band-Aids and sandwiches.
Band-Aids, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I will say that if anyone comes in and they are actually fairly badly hurt, I am more than happy to treat them. Like, I want people to recognize that this isn't just, I sprained my finger. Because, I'm not saying
You've just cut out.
Frankenstein. Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I'm not saying I want to be Dr. Frankenstein, but, I'm not going to object to being like, let me see if I can reattach that leg.
Okay. All right. So are you doing, obviously, supernatural solar level healing with this?
Not obviously. And if I need to do like something holy shit solar sorcery, I will take them into the back and render whoever it is unconscious gently, very gently, and then fix them.
You're not knocking them out, you're giving them pain medication. All right, real quickly.
Exactly.
Sarcastic, is there anything specific you were planning on doing?
For the most part, Finn's going to be working with the Oathbound. I know they just got the kind of a contract to work the gate.
That's going to be coming up soon, yeah.
So he's mostly getting preparations, making himself known to them, trying to gain their trust, and kind of their leadership, like doing drills with them. Kind of also going over their contracts with well, Logan's not here, but his character, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Seeing kind of where they're standing. Like I said, just trying to become more of a presence there and kind of a commanding figure for them.
All right. After after a couple of days of this, you guys will Alaskos will let you know. Hey, we've got kind of an odd one. There's a fella here who wants to talk to the commander and whoever holds the contract for the Oathbound.
Then we'll kind of lean forward. It's like, do we know anything about what business he has?
He says, yeah, he's Paymaster Tivar. He's the one that manages the contracts for the various mercenary units on behalf of Gem.
So he'll give a nod and he'll get up and I guess at this point, let's go ahead and we'll receive him in whatever room that they normally take the business acquaintances to, and I guess he'll also call for the commander.
Yeah, that's Captain Alaskos. So the Paymaster is, I'd say, he's not elderly, but he's, I mean, there's gray in his beard. His face is lined. He's dressed richly. His turban is a sort of cloth of gold. He's obviously primarily Galena, but Gem City Galena, who don't do as much of the indigo and the face veiling and all that sort of thing. He introduces himself as Paymaster Tiver of Gem, a contractual overseer for mercenary operate in Origin. And he says, I'm a little bit unclear as to exactly what's going on around here. The Red Fangs were under contract to Gem, and while we did get a note indicating that the Red Fangs were no more, but the note lacked sufficient detail. I would like to understand the situation personally, and to ensure that Gem's investments in the Red Fang are respected, perhaps even recouped, because not every mercenary companies don't get to just rewrite their contracts simply because their commander does. That's not how any of this works. So, feel free to explain to me exactly what did happen and why you can't either pay a contract penalty clause for breaching contract early, or continue with operations on behalf of Gem. Please.
What would Finn? Would Finn know anything about the particular contract he's referring to?
Just that Red Fangs had a long-term security contract with Gem to operate in Origin and provide security. It's maybe it had like another year and a half to go.
And so he would just kind of consider the man for a moment, scratch at his beard. Finn's definitely kind of playing the outsider aspect of his character up. He definitely looks different from those here, and he is not going into the social, because he's just scratching at his beard a little bit, reaching down, taking a drink from his cup. Well, as I see it, the Oathbound, as they're called now, if you would be so kind as to use the proper name for them, they've had a change in leadership, as you've alluded to, and with that does come a change in priorities. So your contract with the previous commander doesn't necessarily hold up as well. So
Ah,
where
you
I'm from,
misunderstand.
uh,
You misunderstand
uh,
the legality.
I'm not done yet. Now, if you want to renegotiate, we are open to that. But new leadership, new management, we do not have to adhere to that. So,
He said, the contract was with the Red Fangs. Their commander was merely signed on behalf of the organization whole.
and we are now the Oathbound.
Yes, you changed your name. Congratulations.
Yeah, I did. We also changed our commander.
That's also very nice. What does
Yes.
that have to do with the contract?
Did you make a contract with every single soldier here?
We made a contract with the Red Fangs as an organization. You don't just
That
change names.
organization is no longer. Do you keep your contracts with dead mercenary groups?
We don't see that this organization is dead. We see that the organization is very much alive, merely under a new commander. So if you have other priorities than fulfilling previous contracts, that's simple enough. Pay the breach of contract fee.
I see it differently, though. I see it that this is a completely different organization. And at this point, he's just kind of standing up and leaning forward on the table. Not openly being menacing, but definitely has that aura and presence. He's a very large, powerful person.
The paymaster fiddles with his pens and says, and then points at Alaskos and says, "That man is the former deputy commander of the Red Fangs. So if the commander is deceased and the deputy steps up and assumes command, it's the same organization, even if you change the name."
He just kind of looks over at Laskos and goes, "Do you still serve the Red Fangs, or do you serve the Oathbound?"
He says, "Oh, undoubtedly the Oathbound. I see where the gentleman's perspective is, but the Red Fangs were defeated, and I would say the organization destroyed as a result of operations that our previous commander, or that the commander of the Red Fangs led us into. There was no ordinary succession of command. We paid off the majority of the Red Fangs and have built something new out of what remained."
At that point, Finn's going to shrug his shoulders like, "Investing in mercenaries is risky business. War, fighting, it's risk."
Yes. I don't seem to recall there having been a war in the past few weeks. I would have noticed.
Still, soldiers died, all sorts of activities. And we just happened to pick up what was left of the Red Fangs. That being said, they're now under my command and that of my commander here, who I've hired. If you wish to negotiate contracts with the Oathbound, we will be open to those negotiations once my colleague has returned to settle such matters.
Is that how we're going to play it?
I don't see any other way to play it. I do not wish to honor the contracts of every single employer that the Red Fang have disappointed over their time, just simply because I hired some of their men.
Well, very well then. So be it. I would wish you a good day, but I don't particularly care. And he stands up, bows slightly, ever so slightly, calculated insult level of slightly, and he's on his way out. And he's like, "Yep, okay. If that is what it is, that's what it is."
I'm just gonna kind of give a nonchalant, dismissive wave toward him as he leaves, and go back to drinking from his cup.
Alaska says he does hold the leash on the vast majority of the mercenaries in town. I'm not saying it's wrong to tell him to go fornicate with himself, but just be prepared for some blowback.
I'm certain of it. We will, when Cyclone comes back from his errands, we will discuss with him maybe keeping tabs on this particular person. I'd like to know who the enemies are that we have, and, honestly, I believe keeping the leash off of our necks is more important.
I would agree. I simply encourage you. I simply point out that there may be consequences, and we should all be prepared for it. That's all.
Oh, we'll be prepared. Speaking of which, how are the men doing? Soldiers, rather.
Okay. So let's swing back around to Steve for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
What's your plan?
So, I mean, I feel like, yes, there'll be more guards at night, but that's still the advantageous time to break in. You know, I've done my diligence as far as prep. Are there any changes of note other than I would assume an increased, security patrol presence?
No, not really.
So, I mean, I think probably the way to do it would be to get up to rooftop a few buildings away, even, probably same block, but like opposite side, thinking in modern city terms anyway. But, scamper across rooftops, and then infiltrate much the same way I did previously, and just take things and leave as before. Although obviously this time, not so much making it look like a failed burglary attempt.
Okay. So you're going to now, if you talk about stones, if we go, call it high, medium, and low value stones. The high end are going to be larger, likely uncut, rubies, emeralds, sapphires, that sort of thing. Mid value are going to be, still a decent size, but things like tourmaline and amethyst and spinel and so forth. And then there's going to be a number of bulk or common stones used in market jewelry, trade bundles, or even like kind of scrap tier where it's
peasant jewelry.
Yeah.
Like, not peasant per se, but
like
working class.
Yeah, like they're stones that he got them as part of a bundle, so to speak, and he's like, yeah, these aren't worth selling individually, so he'll pass them off to somebody who will make inexpensive jewelry. So
I feel like focusing more in the mid to the top end of the low tier. Like, if I know enough to, the ones that he got as throw-ins, I almost want to leave as an insult.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, here, you can have the shit that you were trying to pass off. But I don't want to just clean out the top end. You know what I'm saying? Like,
okay. So you want a mixed bag out of the top. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, kind of like the top half of the bottom tier, most of the middle tier, and maybe a few select pieces from the top tier. Is, again, as I said, thinking those more as potential payment or boons for Makala.
Okay. Among the, in the same strongbox with several of the other high value pieces is one gem that seems to glow faintly, but it's black and seems to glow with kind of a cold light.
So that seems to be something special.
Most gems don't glow, correct?
I don't have any abilities that particularly apply to that. I do have I have very high wits. Is there something you would like me to roll to kind of get a feel for what it might be? Is it potentially some sort of trackable thing? Is this something of extremely high value that is very special? Like,
okay, so gems don't typically glow unless they're hearthstones from manses or otherwise, there are certain types of gems there's certain types of crystals that do glow, brightly enough to be used as light sources, but none of them are black. They tend to be a yellow or a white. There's Yasal crystals which can trap spirits, but again, those are a dark yellow, almost like amber. You've never heard of a black glowing gem. I would let you roll occult, but you don't have any.
Right, that's where I was going. I feel like I want to take it, but that is not getting fenced with the bulk of things. That is getting special consideration.
Yeah, Makala's going to look at you like, you're not giving this to a regular gem cutter, and also, I'm not giving you any money for it, because damn, how do you fence this?
No. Makala isn't even knowing about that piece.
Okay. All right. Cool.
That is, I think probably something I want to take to Parviz or Nim, as at least within our circle, they seem to have more knowledge in those areas. Although I'd be more than happy to, once I get back, show it to either Saelen or Finn. Just, hey, do you guys have any idea what this is? But I think that is coming along, maybe as like, we'll leave, but that's too special to just leave him with, and it'll piss him off if it's gone.
Okay. Yeah. So, are you going to try to muddy the evidence in here? Are you going to try to make this appear to be anything other than a high-end burglar strolls in here, pops all the locks, and takes a bag full of gems?
I think I would like to make it look like it was someone who used a little more brute force than finesse skill. In other words, once, get the things open, but then make it look like, there was some prying, some damage, some crowbarring, but not, you know what I mean? Like to make it look like it was someone of a lesser skill level than my own that pulled this off.
That will also have the added benefit of pissing Jerrik off and having him scream at his hired mercenaries, because what do you mean you didn't hear anything when people were in here busting my strong boxes with a crowbar? How do you not hear that? All right. Yeah. So that's that's definitely a larceny roll of some kind. Yeah, I'll call it a wits larceny roll.
Okay.
Difficulty 3.
Okay. So refresh me as to the macro options and all that.
All
bonuses and specialization. I don't get anything, correct?
Nope. So bonuses and specialization. Actually, I'm gonna call what you did a stunt. So that'll give you an extra 2 dice.
Okay, hang on. Let me. So that'll go into a 2 there, correct?
You've already hit the larceny wits button, and it's asking for bonuses and specialties. Yeah, 2. Add 2 dice there.
Doubles are 10s only, or do I have something in
10s only?
Okay. Any automatics from, be it seasoned criminal or lock opening technique or anything like that?
No, you've blown through the locks.
Yeah. No, it doesn't look like I have any mechanical.
No.
System stuff. So, okay.
Yeah. So
5 success.
5 successes. There you go. Yeah. So not only have you successfully made it look confusing, anybody trying to sort it out, and anybody who suspects that the evidence has been altered would have a difficulty 5, which is really challenging for a mortal. Likely had maybe 4, 5, even 6 dice. So yeah, you have cleaned out a good chunk of Jerrik's stock here. So, Jen, what's your character going to be up to?
Let's see. So I'll be. I know that he's more than capable of pulling off the heist, but I will be skulking in the vicinity with Hellbore.
Intro and outro music by the band 12 Noon. You can email us at meandsteverpg@gmail.com. You can find us on Twitter and RPGs. Find us on Facebook at Me and Steve RPG Podcast, on Discord at Me and Steve RPGs, and as always, all of these links are in the show notes. Thank you, and be kind to one another.
How much for the cigar?
Cigar, $20, dog. You gotta go down the street to the store and buy that.